It occurs to me that people don't realize that the whole point of heaven is it is the continual experience of being in love. And hence it is quite easy to enter into the kingdom of heaven here while still in the world of good and evil and uncertainty and scarcity. I mean, even a man in the street can tell you this. He may well in his life at some point fallen in love. And everything's just wonderful, lovely. Well, that's what heaven's like. It's just lovely. It's not actually a demanding place where you've got to do things. It's simply a case of being in love. It is what perfect fellowship is. And God has arranged the world of uncertainty and change to give you experience of such as part of the contrast between good, and it's the epitome of good, and evil, and that can be pretty bad. And because you come to know the difference here, you become very clear to secure your eternity in heaven that you value love. Love of God, as we understand it from the Jesus story, as your Heavenly Father. But you may love God as Divine Mother or as dearest friend. But love. Some couples try to simply do it with each other. They love each other all their life here. But then typically one of them dies, has to leave earlier than the other. And then of course the contrast makes you so clear what you value and what you would avoid like the plague, if you can. And of course you long for being with your love when you also pass over. It is, I suppose, something of a misunderstanding to devote yourself to each other instead of to God. Because you're devoting yourself to a transitory state, the way your beloved appears in this life, they are much more than and much fuller than this, and so are you. And whereas when you relate to God, as your dad say, as your loving heavenly dad, you are relating to the Spirit of God in all the fullness of the goodness of what heaven is about, which is not an exclusivity by one individual for one other, but on the contrary, a love of all beings, all life, and devotion to their well-being. Whereas, in the earthly experience of being devoted to each other on earth, you actually have an experience of a narrow love relationship. Very good compared to much on earth, but not the eternal, full goodness that you need in heaven, and that heaven is. Now, you can have a relationship with someone else on earth where they are your partner through life, but your devotion is to God. It's God first. And of course, if you both have this, then this relationship will, in all probability, be enduring. Because you're both anchored to the eternal. And of course, you're both blissfully happy because you truly do love your God. care for each other accordingly. And in this way you can be a far greater blessing to your partner than if you simply focus them as the be-all and end-all of your love here on earth. The reason it's not a good idea to put God second to anyone is that God is the fullness of all that we need, all of us. And it's that which we are to purpose, if that is what we are to gain. And you are here to gain exactly that. Bless you. I think I should have put it in a more loving, romantic way, but well, I suppose the obvious. The difficulties of life become just impossible without God. So you need God in your relationship, in loving each other, and you need to put Him first. And then your love for each other too will be complete. And that is, after all, what you want, isn't it? It's just that you don't quite realize what it turns on. And it turns on you putting God first and loving each other accordingly, which, believe me, will be quite lovely. Bless you. Thank you, Dad.